I know it's been forever since I posted a video, but you know what I'm going to do? I am going to just go ahead and just get rid of all my Vampire Diaries stuff, like the rest of the characters, and, you know, just all that stuff. And honestly, guys, I need your guys' help. Like, seriously, I don't know if I should just keep reviewing the rest of this season, because I know every single episode is just going to be a rant fest. And that's not what I want. I don't want you guys to see, you know, that ugly part of me. I really don't, you know. I really want to start doing some positive reviews, and if I keep doing Vampire Diaries, I can't do that. So, I'm going to try to keep watching, but don't be surprised if I just stop reviewing the Vampire Diaries altogether. Okay, this is going to be part 2 of my character video. Let's get to Alaric. Oh, Alaric, you poor son of a bitch. When they first introduced Alaric in Season 1, I really liked Alaric's character. I thought that Matt Davis did a really good job of playing Alaric. In Season 1, how he was like, you know, the history teacher slash vampire hunter and all that, I thought that was cool. I liked how he became a surrogate father for Elena and Jeremy. I liked the relationship that they developed. I thought that was pretty cool. I liked how Alaric really was also another awesome human character. The show had such awesome human characters in the beginning, and it just completely gets rid of them now. And like I said before, almost every character on the show is a supernatural creature, and it really annoys me. It kills me at times. Season 1, his whole storyline of wanting to find out what happened to Isobel, and then ultimately it was a cruel truth, it really was, of what happened. She left him, and she's banged Damon, Damon turned her. Of course, Damon hasn't apologized or atoned for it at all, or even recognized that it was wrong. Whatever. So, yeah, I thought Alaric was a really awesome character. Matt Davis did a great job. You know, he portrayed, like, whenever Alaric showed emotion, I liked how Alaric and Damon kind of became buddies. And it made sense, because after the whole revelation of what happened with Isobel came out, about how she wanted it, about how she hunted down Damon, and about how ultimately, even if Damon turned her down, she would have just gone running to some other vampire to be turned. To have that mentality and just immediately jump for it and go into action just because she wasn't happy with her human life, it's pathetic. It seriously is. And, you know, the only thing that kind of kept me happy was knowing that she knew that she made a huge mistake. She's like, I wanted this, and it's a decision I will regret for the rest of my life. Right there. She didn't know what she had until she lost it. In Season 2, I liked Alaric. I liked how, you know, again, he was with Jenna. He became Jeremy and Elena's kind of surrogate father figure. They liked him. You know, him getting body slashed by Klaus, that was nuts. I liked it. That was a pretty cool storyline, and I liked how he acted when he was possessed. You know, it was just like, yeah, Matt Davis did a good job of that. You know, he's a good actor. He was a good actor, and it just annoys me what they did to him for Season 3. And you know what? Let's get into that right now. When it first starts out, it's pretty cool. Alaric's kind of, you know, trying to get past it. He's trying to, you know, support Jeremy and Elena while also trying to allow them to kind of grow up and kind of accept that, you know, you guys are adults now. You have to start learning to handle things on your own. I will always be there for you, but you got to learn how to start handling things on your own. And then the whole Dark Alaric storyline happened, and in my opinion, the Dark Alaric storyline was stupid. He had died so many times that now he was turning evil. Aside from the fact that, like, they didn't even think that was an issue with Jeremy, and also they didn't even answer the question, was it the ring that was doing it, or was it Esther? Because Esther says that every time Alaric died, she was nurturing the dark side of him when he crossed over and then came back. So was it the ring, or was it Esther? Because if it's not Esther and it's just the ring, then You could use the ring all you want as long as Esther doesn't fuck with you on the other side. And also, Esther is still on the other side. That's why, like, in the latest episode, when Elena stabbed Jeremy in the neck and killed him, are they really not worried about Esther or the other spirits fucking with Jeremy from the other side? I would be. I'd be like, oh my god, what's happening to him right now? I mean, he's on the other side. The spirits could be doing anything to him. They're not even worried about this. And then Jeremy just comes back and everything's fine. So, you know, whatever. The show's not great with its own continuity, which... but... You know, the whole Dark Alaric thing, I feel like, honestly, it was shoehorned in there because they were like, okay, we're going to need something other than the originals, you know? And that just annoyed me. The originals have such potential. They have such growth. You can have great storylines with them. You have 1,000 years for the originals. And for them to... And Finn, of all of them, who was, like, you know, daggered for 900 years. So I was like, oh my god, so he was only around for 100 years? Really? Really? Like... Oh my god. Like, and also Cole, I mean, go into his background. They have all these backgrounds, all these characters, the original family of vampires. This is something that if it's written well enough by the right people and developed enough, can last a whole season. But for some reason, they shoehorned in Dark Alaric to add all this fucking drama. And it was so convoluted, and it was so congested, and it was so unnecessarily elaborate, you know? It was ridiculous. And I'm just going to cover this real quick. Meredith, she was useless. She's still useless. I don't know why she's on the show. She's you know, Melina Pendulum in her video, she talked about when she was doing a review of season 2. Meredith is a character in the books, and I've read the Vampire Diaries books. Not all of them. I'm still reading some, but yeah. But you know, this show is so different from the books. I'm not even going to compare them or talk about the books. So let the books out of the conversation. Meredith is a character in the books. But Melina Pendulum said that if they did bring her in, they're not going to know what to do with her because they don't know what to do with their human characters. And it's completely true. They don't know what they're doing with Meredith, and it's blah. Sage, also a character from the books, she comes in, and she was useless. She's just there as a plot device so that Damon can get inside Rebecca's mind, find out about Wookery Bridge, and all that convoluted, elaborate crap, all to get to that one stake. And it was just so... annoying. They needed that whole storyline that lasted half the season with the second tree, with where the wood went, with Wookery Bridge, with making like the 14, 15 stakes that they made, all of it so that they get to this one stake. I mean, it was so unnecessarily elaborate, so convoluted. Why did they need to create all this drama and all this bullshit that gets watered down episode by episode by episode to ultimately just lead into this one stake? I mean, like, the previous seasons did stuff like that in their own ways, but on the side of that, you had interesting character growth, you had character interactions, you had really interesting stuff happening in the background and on the side, so that, you know, the elaborate plot that they created, it was also well developed. So, you know, you had the kind of elaborate plot, but it was well developed, so you enjoyed it, and you enjoyed all the side stuff and all the stuff that was happening in the background. Whereas in season 3, the characters were being crapped all over, and you had this unnecessarily elaborate plot line that didn't really make a lot of sense. It was just ridiculous, and I feel like Dark Alaric is a product of this, and it's so annoying. And then turning Alaric into, you know, the ultimate vampire killing machine with the one ultimate weapon. I mean, I'll say this. For the season finale, I was kind of on the edge of... I'm sorry, for the last 2-3 episodes, I was kind of on the edge of my seat. But that's only because I thought that they might kill off certain characters, you know, like Caroline or Tyler or Matt or Jeremy. I thought that they could very much kill them off. And at that point, I kind of wanted... I still liked those characters, you know? So I was like, oh, okay, I want... What is Dark Alaric going to do? What is Dark Alaric really going to... What is he really capable of now? You know, and then in the end, you know, he dies, and that was no big deal, because, like, honestly, at that point, you know that they're gonna kill Alaric. You know it. And then when he appears before Jeremy, I was like, okay, so Alaric's dead, but he's not dead. You know, it was BS. I didn't enjoy it at all. They didn't give Alaric the epic send-off that he should have gotten. It was very emotional with him and Damon, but at the same time, I was wondering why the hell hasn't he just killed Damon? He's just kicking Damon's ass, knocking him around, and it's just like, stake him already. Well, what is he doing? He was just like messing around with Damon. I'm guessing he was trying to get information, but why do people do that? I mean, he was more powerful than the originals. All he had to do was kill Damon and then run off and look for them. He was able to find that storage facility easily enough, wasn't he? You know, just crap like that. Just like, shh. whatever. So yeah, so Alaric, loved him in season 1, loved him in season 2, and as always, season 3 ruined him. Start off with Vicki. Why not? Alright, Vicki. Now, Vicki, I feel like she was a very disposable character. She seriously was. I mean, like, I felt a little for her, I did, you know, with her issues, how she had such complete and utter problems in life, you know, her drug addiction, her things with Tyler, her things with Jeremy, how, you know, like, the scene in the pilot when, Jeremy says, you know, why don't you want to be with me or whatever, and she says, because all you want to do is, you know, be with me and then use me up and then, you know, screw me and then throw me away. And, you know, Jeremy's like, is that what you really think? You know, it's like, she had a whole bag of issues with herself, and she needed to get some help, seriously. I mean, like, when she became a vampire, honestly, because I had just started watching the show, I honestly didn't know how far they were going to go. But yeah, they went as far as to stake Vicki, and that was something. I mean, like, it kind of came out of nowhere for me, at least. I was just like, holy crap, they killed Vicki! It was nuts. And, you know, how that affected Jeremy, it was really sad. How it affected Matt, it was really sad. You know, it sucks. But again, that's just something that, you know, Damon's done that he hasn't apologized or atoned for, but whatever. So yeah, I feel like Vicki, I feel like she had a very toxic relationship with Jeremy. I feel like Jeremy did love her, but they were no good for each other. I feel very much that she was wrapped up in her own pain, her own angst, her own suffering, that she was kind of ignorant to how it was affecting everyone else around her, like all addicts are. You know, so Vicki Donovan, disposable character, when she came back in season 3 and wanted to, you know, kill Elena so that she could come back. Honestly, I didn't really feel anything for that because I knew Elena wasn't going to die and I knew they were going to send Vicki back. So it was all so predictable. I didn't feel anything for that. It meant nothing to me, so moving on. Let's talk about Anna and Pearl. Now, Anna and Pearl from season 1. I really liked Anna and Pearl. I love Anna, getting all together, all these vampire pals, turning the bartender, doing all that, like how she came up with all this planning, and how she's been doing all this on her own, everything, just to get her mother back. I was like, yes, because that is just awesome, because family to me is just like, you know, family ties are the strongest ties in the world, in my opinion. So for her to go through all of that, to go through that like 150 some odd year journey to get her mother back, it was just awesome to me. And I really wanted to know what else. That's why, like, Anna was such a cool character, and I totally understand why she wanted to kill John Gilbert and all of the council after John killed her mother. Oh my god, when John killed Pearl. Oh my god, like, I hate John Gilbert, I'll get to that. But Anna, I felt so bad for her when she walked in and saw Pearl dead, because Pearl was a pretty solid character as well. She was not like all these other idiotic tomb vampires that wanted revenge. She wanted to just, you know, reestablish the town as their home, because that's what it was. She finds out that she can't really do that, you know, with the council and with everything that's going on. So, you know, she ends up telling Anna that they have to leave, and then Anna wants to stay, and, you know, then John takes Pearl, you son of a bitch. And it was sad, because Pearl was pretty awesome. Like, that scene she has with Damon, where she's like, you know, oh my god, it was so awesome, because to see Damon get bested like that, it was so awesome. She's like, I'm surprised no one lives here. What do you do if a vampire walks in? He's like, we kill them. Grabs her, and then she just like one-hands him, just takes his hand off and just throws him. It was awesome. And then, you know, she's like, I have 400 years on you, little boy. I'll rip you from them to live without even blinking, and you know it. I was like, ah, that was so awesome. And her and Anna together, it was great. I would have loved to have seen that carry on. Pearl dying, like, that was enough. But then Anna getting staked, that was just like, I love season 1 and I love season 2, but there are certain things where I'm just like, they happen in the show and it's just like, no, and I just can't get over them. And Anna's death was definitely one of them. Pearl dying was painful enough, but I was like, it's okay because Anna's alive and her and Jeremy are going to be together and it's going to be awesome. And then Anna ends up getting staked, and I was like, no, I hated that. I hated John Gilbert for doing that. And the scene where he does it is just so cold and just so aggravating to me, and I was like, no, Anna, and she's pleading, she's like, please, please, and he just stakes her, all because she was with Jeremy. And like, Jeremy just really seems to just forgive John for doing that, and that always bothered me. I was like, dude, he killed the girl you love, you're just okay with that? But then again, same thing can be said with Damon. Whatever, everyone on the show is so forgiving, it annoys me. Whatever. Okay. Like, seriously, even in season 1 and season 2, when I love it, they're just forgiving everyone for everything, and I just hate it. Like, seriously, like, I wanted Jeremy to punch John, like, at least. Like, just punch him square in the face for doing that. I hated it. Oh, God, I hate you, John Gilbert, I hate you. So yes, Anna, I loved Anna. I loved Pearl. I thought they were awesome characters. I love how she was like the leader of the tomb vampires and she was keeping them all in line. That was great. Oh, God. I really wanted to find out more about her and Anna's story. But unfortunately, we don't. It's unfortunate and it sucks. Oh, God. They were so interesting and I just wanted to find out more about them. Okay, moving on. So, let's move on to Jenna. Why not? Jenna in Season 1 and Season 2... she was entertaining. She was just one of the side human characters, and she was pretty entertaining. You know, I mean, like, you know, there was that scene where she has with Alaric, where Alaric kind of tells her the truth about Isobel, about Elena, about John, about all this crazy drama, and then, you know, she goes, wait a minute, okay, so my boyfriend's ex-wife is really my niece's mother, who's really my, you know, blah blah, and she's connecting it all, and the way she strings it up, it sounds like a fucking soap opera, and just the way she makes it sound is so funny, and she goes, and she says something like, you can't make this stuff up, and I was like, oh yes, like, you know, moments like that. Jenna had her moments, you know, I liked her, and her whole thing with Logan Fell, kind of how naive she was. Like Jenna really represented the naivete that was going on in the town. Whenever something weird happened, it just got blown off, and that's kind of what Jenna showed you. But ultimately, people said that her character was kind of pointless. I kind of agree. You know, she was a bit of a plot device to be kind of like, you know, the ignorant human in the situation. It's pretty much what she was. You know, but all in all, the Jenna dying, it was sad because, you know, of her connection with Elena and her connection with Jeremy. You felt bad for them because she died. You know, I don't think that... God, I think it was just a really cruel move, honestly. I was like, no, because that's her last remaining family, and it fucking sucks that she had to die. Oh, God, it really does. Like, oh, God. Like, when she became a vampire for the sacrifice, I was like, they're gonna kill her. I was really hoping that they might save her, but all in all, yeah, she was gonna die. It sucked. I liked her, though. I liked her. John and Isobel. They were annoyances in the show. They just popped in, and they kept having all these assumptions over what was best for Elena, over trying to protect Elena. I'm sorry, but once you give up your child, you have no right to say what is best for them. They want to kill Stefan and Damon so that she can, you know, have a safer, better life. While they were completely in the right, guess what? It's Elena's choice, so back the hell off. But then, you know... that's why when, Isobel died, I didn't really feel anything. I was like, okay, yeah, good. That's one less annoyance. She was annoying. She was always messing with people's plans. She was always going in there and threatening people. She was just an annoying little biatch, and I wanted to see her die. And then she ended up dying, and I was like, yay, yay, one less annoyance. I mean, like, it was emotional, again, you know, because of Elena losing her mother, you know, but she wasn't Elena's mother. She wasn't. And, you know, the scene when she died, and she said that she was such a disappointment to Elena, and blah, blah, blah. Doesn't really mean anything because she didn't redeem herself. She didn't redeem herself for any of the shit that she did, so, you know, whatever. Isobel dying, whatever it is. I will not miss you. And let's talk about John. I hate John Gilbert. He's a douchebag, he's arrogant, he's pompous, and he killed Anna and Pearl. Killing all the tomb vampires for it. Anna and Pearl, off limits. Leave them be. Let them be. But no, he has to kill them. It's so... like, this whole bullshit, I know what's best for my daughter, I know what's best for my nephew bullshit, was complete and utter, like I said, bullshit. I mean, like, the whole episode where he comes back, and he is just sowing the seeds of distrust between Alaric and Jenna, and then, you know, he's like, I don't think it's appropriate for you to be sleeping over at the house with Jenna. Who the fuck are you to be saying that? Who are you to be coming in here and saying what's appropriate? How he's like, oh, well, I'm technically the legal guardian or whatever. I was like, oh my god, shut the fuck up. You're never there. That's why he's never present in Elena's life or Jeremy's life. He just pops in and out, gives these little bullshit I know what's best thing, and then he pops out and he pops back in, and he's so pompous and so arrogant, and when Alaric punched him in the face in season 2 and just walked out, and Elena was like, you know this is your fault, right? And you totally deserve that. John was like, yeah, I know. He's like a self-aware douchebag, and I hate that, because like, if you're aware that you're a douchebag, stop being a fucking douchebag. But he wasn't. He just kept being a douchebag, and that is why the one awesome thing about John Gilbert was his death, because one, he died, so done. But 2, it was completely meaningless. Because he ends up, because Elena would have come back a vampire. He sacrificed his life so Bonnie can do her stupid life-changing spell so that Elena could stay human, because it swaps, you know, his life for hers so that Elena can stay human. And what happens, like, 6 months later in season, I'm sorry, like, ultimately, like, maybe, like, 7 months later, you know, because in the season 2 finale, he sacrifices himself so that she doesn't have to be a vampire and she can stay human. Then the finale of season 3, which is in the continuity of the show, like 7 months later, she gets turned into a vampire anyway. Not even a year after he dies, and she gets turned into a vampire. I was just like, oh my god, yes, his sacrifice was completely meaningless. Yes, it meant nothing, because it's like, you know, only a few months go by, and then bam, she's a vampire anyway. Oh, that was great. I will not allow my daughter to be the thing I hate most. Yeah, well, guess what? She still is, asshole. Oh, that was great. Like, that's why when he sacrificed himself so she could be human, I was like, okay, yeah, good, John, you're gone, yay. And then in the end of season 3, when she wakes up, I was like, oh, like, I was just like, oh, well, she's a vampire. Oh, surprise. You know, I was just caught up in the bullshitness. But then I started thinking about it, I was like, wow, so John sacrificed himself for nothing, and I was like, oh my god, John sacrificed himself for nothing, because I fucking hate that guy. It was great. Sacrificed himself for nothing. It was awesome. And I think that's pretty much, oh, the originals. The originals, now, I pretty much already talked about what I think about the originals. I think Elijah is the best original, because even in season 3, my biggest complaint about Elijah in season 3 is that he forgets his own plan. In season 2, with the sacrifice, he had that weird elixir that would have brought Elena back to life had she died. But when Dark Alaric is rampaging, you know, he doesn't think, let's give Elena the potion and kill her. You know, and it's not like they already use it, because at the end, because in season 2, the episode where he brings it up, we see him put it away in a box and then walk away with it, and then we never see it again. And it's just like, well, if he has this hidden away somewhere, just whoop it out and then use it, you know? That's what she said. Just whoop it out and use it, you know? Just give it to Elena and then kill her, and then the potion brings her back and she's fine. But he just, like, forgets his own plan. That was the only one complaint I have. But, like, even the scene after they find out that Esther, their mother, is really trying to kill them all, you know, he even says, like, you know, we deserve it. We totally deserve it. And then Rebecca, being the whining child that she is, who, despite the fact that she's 1,000 years old, is still a teenager, is like, you know, they made us into monsters. They made us into monsters. And then Elijah's like, no, they made us into vampires. We made ourselves into monsters. I was like, it was such an awesome Elijah line. That's exactly what he would say. He is the only self-aware original that is aware that they're 1,000 years old, that they're monsters, that what they've done is horrible, that even him, with all his claims to honorable nobility, he's killed innocent people. And he still will kill innocent people if it means doing stuff, and he's betrayed people before. You know, like in season 2, he betrays Elena and Stefan and Bonnie and the whole Vampire Diaries crew, and ultimately he screws over the whole world by helping Klaus and allowing Klaus to make his hybrid army. Klaus, you don't know what I feel about him. I don't like Klaus. I actually hate Klaus. I think he's a whining, petulant little child. In season 2, he was interesting, but in season 3, he was wrecked. So, yeah, I can always watch him in season 2 and then just, like, imagine his character being completely different than what I've seen. Elijah is the biggest pimp ever. Even in season 3, his character wasn't completely derailed. I think that the whole storyline with that love like, what was up with that? They talked about how the original doppelganger was a chick that Elijah and Klaus were fighting over when they were human. Like, really? Really? Like, a love triangle? And the whole parallel between, oh, it's, you know, Stefan is Stefan is Elijah and Klaus is Damon, and then, you know, you got Elena, who's a mirror image of the doppelganger, who was the chick that they were fighting over. It was like, really? They were shoving the parallel in our face, and it was a stupid parallel, because I don't want some backstory involving a love triangle. So it was just stupid. It was just dumb. But whatever, it was a backstory that they explained for like 15 minutes and then it was done with, so I was like, whatever, Cole, he was just a crazy psychopath. There was no depth to him whatsoever. Go away. Finn, suicidal, angsty vampire who just wants to die. Not interested in that. Go away. Michael. Now, Michael was actually a pretty interesting character, you know, the father of the originals. How he was a vampire who hunted other vampires, how he conditioned himself to feed on vampire blood. That was nuts, to give vampires a bit of a taste of their own medicine. I thought that was awesome. Scene where him and Klaus have that back and forth, it was just so annoying because Klaus was acting like a teenager, and he was acting like Michael, oh, you're such a bad father, and, you know, yelling at him and crying. I was like, it's been 1,000 years. Why are you still like this? It makes no sense. And, you know, it really doesn't, because they're not frozen as they were when they were turned, so... And even if they were, it's been 1,000 years. In 1,000 years, you haven't changed at all. I don't get it. And it's not like Klaus has ever been daggered. Klaus is immune to daggering. So he has been alive, awake, and alert, and changing for 1,000 years. But he's exactly the same angsty little bitch he was when he was human. Whatever. But yeah, I thought Michael was a pretty badass vampire hunter. I thought he was cool, you know. Klaus killing him, you know, it didn't mean anything because Michael was no big character to the show. It was just a way to get rid of the stake, to get rid of the only surviving white oak stake, only to be revealed that there was a whole plethora of them left. Whatever. Esther. Now, Esther being the original mother / original witch and all that, that was interesting. I actually did enjoy the backstory of the originals, how, you know, it was a spell to make them all immortal, and how everything having to do with vampirism, from bloodlust to vervain to the sun and all that, it's all a downside of this immortality spell. I thought that was pretty interesting. I thought it was cool. However, what I didn't like was how they didn't go into any real depth with Esther and what happened with her. I mean, you know, her affair, really her coming up with the spell, her sacrificing the doppelganger, you know, all that stuff. I was just like, how exactly did that whole thing work? You know, like, what happened with Esther? How did she do it? You know, she cheated on Michael with a werewolf, but who? Just what went down? I was really interested to see what went down. And it's a shame that in Season 3 they didn't go into any of that. Like, seriously? Chuck Dark Alaric, chuck half the Delena teasing that you had, and focus on the originals and their backstories and just what went on with them. You know, talk about... Make Cole a deeper character, make Finn a deeper character, make Rebecca a more mature character, make Klaus a more mature character, and go into some depth as to just what happened 1,000 years ago to create them all. And also, the whole 1,000 year ago thing, you guys know how I feel about that. I think it should have been way later. I think that it should have been something like, you know, the originals are so old, they don't even remember, you know, just exactly when it was, you know, when they came from. They don't remember the year, you know, they don't remember if it was 2,000 or 3,000 years ago. They don't even remember their original age, but they just have bits and pieces of memory from when they were human. That would make sense, you know, and then Esther appears, and she kind of answers these questions, not to exactly when it was, because she herself doesn't even really remember, but she just knows what happened, the events that transpired. I've accepted that. But, you know, I feel like Esther, she was an interesting character, her being a mother who wanted to make her children immortal after the death of one of her other children via werewolf attack, it was all really well and good. And what really upsets me about that is that whole storyline where Klaus snuck out with his younger brother to go see the men change into wolves, you know, and his younger brother ends up getting killed. We don't even get anything from that. You know, like Klaus feeling like he's responsible for that. Maybe some of his family members blame Klaus for that, and that's why they kind of ostracized him. You know, none of that. They don't touch on that at all, really, and it just upset me because there's so much room there. I mean, there was so much potential for the originals, but they focused so much more on other things in order to try and create drama and suspense and an elaborate storyline when they should have just kept it simple and focused on what they had. We had a really cool, really plot-filled, really elaborate story in Season 2. In Season 3, you could have just taken things slow. But they didn't. They just... Seriously, the Vampire Diaries, their problem with Season 3 and Season 4 now is that they're giving us a lot of quantity, but they should be giving us quality. You know, they really wasted the originals, and that's what sucks. As singular characters themselves, they're not really well developed. I mean, even Rebecca and Elijah, who have been there all last season, even this season, aren't well developed. Because they're nothing but petulant, whining kids. And it kills me. These are 1,000-year-old vampires, members of the original family of vampires. How do you make them uninteresting? I don't care about them. I don't find them interesting at all. How does that happen? Alright, well, that's my wrap up for the Vampire Diaries characters. If you guys have any other characters you can think of that you want to know my thoughts on, just go ahead and ask me. You know, go ahead. I'm not even going to bother talking about characters like Lexi or Sage or, you know, Jules or Rose, because they were really side characters, and I already talked about what I felt about Rose, you know, when I talked about Damon's character earlier on. So yeah, that's it. Good luck and luck, good luck and love. Comment, respond. All right. Peace.